What's up? It's your girl Ashley. I be ballin' with the IBB. I be ballin' basketball show, and I'm here to review the TV show on FX. It's called Clipped, right? It's about the LA Clippers, right? And I think it was a good show. I would give it a B. I can't give it an A. I'll tell you why it's B worthy and not A worthy. But the thing that it's mostly about, it's about Donald Sterling. If you guys don't know, he used to be an NBA owner. He used to own the LA Clippers, and he made some racist, offensive comments that eventually led him to selling the team. And now it's owned by Steve Ballmer, and this show is about the LA Clippers and the season where Donald Sterling got in some trouble because of some recorded tapes, making some offensive remarks about the players. And I'm gonna talk about how this is actually not very shocking. This is actually, you'd be surprised what goes on behind the scenes, for real. But it gives you a glimpse of what happens behind the scenes, right? And that whole time period, right? I thought the acting was good. Doc Rivers is in there. He's actually the Bucks coach. I'm a big Bucks fan, and I'm not gonna talk about how I feel about him coaching the Bucks. But I'll just deal with it. We got Giannis. But anyway, so if you guys know who Lawrence Fishburne is, he played in a lot of things: The Matrix, The Boys in the Hood, right? Killian the Bee, the list goes on and on. He's been in so many movies, but he plays Doc Rivers. I did like how they made him look like him with the whole hair thing, because some people say, oh, he sprays his hair on, some people say no. But the person that plays Donald Sterling, excellent, bravo. That was a great performance. Great performance. His name is Ed O'Neill, and he played Sterling perfectly. And the wife, Shelly, is played by Jackie Weaver perfectly. And when I was watching the trailer, I couldn't help but laugh. And I feel like they wanted this to be entertaining with drama, and so they definitely added an extra element that I wasn't really aware of. Sterling had an assistant, right? Her name was V, and the actress is Cleopatra Coleman, and I thought she acted her butt off too. And her and Shelly, they had their little beef going on. Shelly suing B, and because she was a young, attractive young lady who was always around, always doing things for Donald Sterling. And then Shelly, who is his wife, right, and partner for like 60 years, wasn't having it. So that was a side story. But also it also talks about how Doc Rivers was trying to get Donald Sterling away from the team. He didn't want any distractions, right? Because the Clippers, they're sort of like a laughing stock of Los Angeles, because people love the Lakers. They love the Lakers. And with the Clippers, it's like you're the little brother that it gets no love, right? Even though they have they have a great, they just built a great new arena. Their owner is awesome. But, they're kind of like in the shadow of the Lakers, right? And so Doc Rivers, he won in '08 with the Celtics, and he's trying to win with the Clippers. That'd be their first championship. Newsflash, they didn't get it done. But he's trying his best to navigate Donald Sterling and his, craziness, but also the big stars of the teams and their personalities and their egos, right? With Blake Griffin, right? You had Lob City, Chris Paul, right? You had Matt Barnes, right? You had so many, players, and JJ Redick, Jamal Crawford, and I've been watching some of the podcast episodes, and all the players are laughing because a lot of the players that played them they don't look like them. They don't look like them, and also their personalities. The players were like, "No, that's not me. That's not how I act." DeAndre Jordan was like, "No, I'm not that obsessed with lizards," and JJ Redick was like, and even Matt Barnes was like, they didn't get Griffin's personality right, because he's sort of like he uses comedy and he's an a-hole, and they made Chris Paul a little more strict, but I think they casted the players that, it wasn't a lot of player involvement in this show, so I feel like they paid, Lawrence Fishburne, O'Neal and Weaver, a lot of that money, right? And then they said, forget the players, we don't care, if we don't get the looks right or whatever. I don't even know if they consulted the players on their personalities and what really went on behind the scenes. I don't even know if they talked to Doc Rivers. If Doc Rivers is one of your main characters, you better talk to him. You gotta pay him. Pay him a little something to give you some extra dirt, some extra real, because, obviously you want drama and entertainment, but you want the real facts. And, what I've been, hearing from the players, that the show isn't very accurate. I also noticed, like, even though it's about, the Donald Sterling affairs, right? It's based on the 30 for 30 ESPN podcast, and it's called The Sterling Affairs. Even though this is about the scandal of Donald Sterling, him as owner, I feel like they didn't really tell that huge chunk of the story. Something about the whiteout party was interesting. They all wore white. The players had to come, and I feel like it was Sterling saying, "Hey, look, here's my team. Here's my black players," and they're white. And like, it's almost like a slave auction. It's not. It's a party, right? But a lot of people would relate it as like a slave auction, right? And DeAndre Jordan was saying on the podcast how he didn't really like the parties, and eventually they didn't have to attend the parties anymore. But even the players were like, "Yo, this is very awkward and weird," and Sterling probably was out of touch with reality, and he probably thought, "Hey, the players love me. I'm a good owner," but really he wasn't. And I just think, even though it's about, wealth, privilege, race, right? Fame, right? I don't think the show captured exactly what it should have been. Like, was it entertaining? Yes. But did you get things accurate? No. Also, you didn't really deepen the story. We really wanted to know about the scandal, and I felt like they didn't touch on it enough, especially the players. If this is about the players and the players being offended, right, and them, it wasn't about the players, and I thought that was a little weird, because if it's offending the players, and most of your players are black, most of the players in the NBA are black, but international players, and Caucasian players, they're still out there, right? And they're balling, Luka, Jokic, what up? you know, you want to make this a safe environment, an environment that, they're comfortable in their own skin. And if you don't do that, you're not a good owner. And also, I just feel like they should have touched more on the players. Like, obviously, the players threw their jersey, shirts, and on the ground. And hindsight is 2020. Maybe the players would have handled the situation differently. Maybe they would have forfeited games. But how many games do you forfeit? They're trying to win a championship. They're trying to make a huge playoff run, and then they got to deal with this. But I thought overall the acting was good. If you want to watch it, you can watch it on, Hulu. But I just thought, they didn't cover what it really should have been. They should have covered race more. And I feel like, yes, it was funny, during probably at the time the players aren't laughing, right? They can laugh about it now and joke about it, but it was a serious manner, and I feel like the show was more funny, more than a serious manner. That I just feel like they didn't. It was more so about Shelly versus V, right? It, that's sort of how they made it. And yes, it was a little bit of a soap opera, but that's what people like to see. So I understand why they didn't make it about race and about the, African American players, But at the same time, that is what the scandal is about, right? So you should add more of it, right? I'm not saying the whole show should have been like that, but it should have been more in there. That's why I can't give it an A. But if you want a short, series that you can binge watch, it's not that long. There's not a lot of episodes. There's like 6 episodes. The episodes aren't long, But, and, I wanted to talk about how this is not like, this isn't like, surprising. I feel like a lot of owners, a lot of billionaire owners that's owning these teams, NBA, NFL, MLB, they probably all say racist remarks, right? Even though their players are a different skin color. And they probably got tapes, and as soon as this scandal went down, they probably said, yo, give me those tapes, erase those tapes, burn those tapes. I'm not happening. This is not happening to me. The Sterling thing is not happening to me, right? Because even if you watch the NBA draft combine, NFL combine, you are taking measurements. You are running and jumping and seeing how fast you go, how far you can jump, how high you can jump, right? Similar to a slave auction, right? Except now you're playing a sport, you're getting paid millions, right? But this is a business, right? But that's why people say don't put race in everything. But actually, race is a part of everything. Even when we don't realize it, it is a part of everything, right? And I feel like some people don't see it that way. Like, are there similarities and differences? Yeah. But it's not quite a scandal like the Sterling scandal. But I remember with the Atlanta Hawks, Danny Ferry was recorded reading a scouting report. And the scouting report was talking about Luol Deng, who, is from Africa. And it said something like, yeah, he's got that African in him, right? It wasn't Danny Ferry's scouting report, but since he did read it and he's on tape reading it, he got in trouble for it. He's no longer in the front office of the Atlanta Hawks because of it. And even one of the owners sold part of their, stake in the team. He had to sell, right? And my thing is, I don't know where these tapes are coming from. I guess to keep record of things. But listen, you can write a scouting report without being racist or offensive. And are some of them doing it on purpose? Are some of them just doing it, because that's how they were raised, or maybe they're not, you know, up to date with things. Maybe they're out of touch, like Sterling. Um, Maybe they need different ways to describe players. Like, even I as a fan, even I look at players and, you know, their abilities and attributes, and, I'm playing a video game. I'm trying to make the best player I can, or I'm looking at who my team is gonna draft. Some players with short arms, T-Rex arms, don't really get drafted. Why? Because they're getting judged on their appearance. Even some people say white players can shoot well and they're slow, and they're not as athletic, and that could be offensive, right? Like a white player that's on my team, AJ Green. Some people might think, oh, he's white, he can't defend, he's short, but he actually can defend. So it's like those remarks that, we make, and we don't really take them serious because we're not, being too serious. But when you're in the higher ups, you got to be careful what you say, how you say it, how you describe a player, because it could be offensive and racist, right? So we have to watch what we do. And I just want to let you guys know, the Sterling thing, it's not like whoa. Like, yes, it was whoa because it was recorded on tape, but this is probably happening all over in sports, and in different, not just sports, different industries, right? But overall, I thought, it was funny, it had drama, it was entertaining. I definitely give it a B. There was definitely, it's definitely missing that it factor. That, oh yes, it came on this week. Now I gotta rush home and watch it and tell all my friends and family and call up, my significant other. And it's not that type of show. It's like, okay, let me just watch this show. This is this is good. This is it's a little bit better than decent. It's good, but it's not great. It's not excellent. It's missing that it factor that would have made it boom, like explode, like, and I don't know, maybe if you added the players more, maybe that would have gave it that boom. But that's for another day, But FX has been doing a lot of good, a lot of good shows. I saw the Aaron Hernandez story, American Sports Story on FX. That was pretty good. So they're doing pretty good with, the sports stories. So it's pretty good, But yeah. If you guys seen Clipped, let me know your favorite, your favorite part, or what you liked about it, what you didn't like about it, the pros, the cons. How would you rate it? The A, your B, your C for Clips. But yeah, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Peace and stay ballin'.